It was summer 1979. Margaret and I had been commissioned for just 1 year. And with Margaret being 8 months pregnant, everything was in place for the Nottingham birth that June of our firstborn child. We received farewell and marching orders, moving us up to Davidson House, Edinburgh, in a matter of 4 weeks. The move was unexpected, though not the child. We smiled. Edinburgh, saluted and said no, it's not practical, impossible. But in July, thanks to the moving compassion of headquarters, I drove Margaret and 1-month-old Elaine the 314 miles up over the border to bonny Scotland in our small, cramped and very uncomfortable Mini. Margaret has great sympathy for the discomforts experienced by Mary and Joseph. In their case, because Caesar Augustus had issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world. Luke chapter 2 continues. And Joseph went up from Nazareth to the city of David, Bethlehem, in order to register along with Mary, who was with child. And it came to pass that while they were there, the days were completed for her to give birth. This decree, this census, affected everyone, the rich and the most common of people who often lived in the most obscure places. The news reached Mary and Joseph like her own story, the most inopportune of times. We're not told how far along Mary was in her pregnancy, but I'm sure the thought of such a trip was unwelcome, perhaps even overwhelming. Nevertheless, this journey to Bethlehem became necessary so that they might comply with the law and register for the census. Did they feel hesitant against such requirements? I feel certainly they did. But was God in it? Absolutely, 100%. Hindsight proves it. Prophetic words from ages past foretold that a Saviour would be born out of Bethlehem. And God used Caesar's mouth, a census, and a difficult journey for a pregnant woman to fulfil those ancient yet much longed for prophetic Old Testament words. God is in the ordinary events of our day too. When we are hit by unemployment, breakdown in a once loving relationship, sickness, isolation, an ageing body, or today's worldwide pandemic, we can despair, thinking that God has turned his back upon us in our time of need. We can feel worthless, as something to be tossed around like a rag doll. But little do we realise that these events are like the census, steering us on to the next thing God has for us, for the church, and for our purpose as God's people within this world. And as so many of us have very quickly adapted our faith and worship lifestyles to Zoom, Facebook and everything else which this computer age has laid before us, so these catastrophic events we're all going through start to feel like a rudder getting us to Bethlehem. Perhaps we can't see it at the time, be it travelling on a donkey, in a Mini, or whilst caught up in the midst of this pandemic storm. But we do need to remember that our trust in God need not be shaken, not then, not ever.